Hello everybody, Health Coach Erin here. Today I wanted to do a lunch walk and talk with you and talk about a number that we often hear swirling around and that is very easy to get fixated on. And the number that I want to talk about is weight. So what I really want to talk about is why that number, while important, is not always the most important factor about health and wellness. That number has a lot of important friends that should be taken into consideration in addition to the number on the scale. And so again, while weight, I don't want to downplay the importance of, being at a healthy weight, but I think what I want to iterate is why it's not the most important factor and why we shouldn't get so fixated on it alone. There are so many other important numbers that we need to think about, and many of these numbers, we find those numbers out by a healthy relationship with our doctors or other healthcare practitioners, because a lot of those numbers, we don't have an easy way to test those ourselves. So that's something that our healthcare practitioners need to help us test for and keep an eye on. So one of those numbers is a BMI, which is for body mass index. So the body mass index takes lots of numbers, including our weight, into consideration. And it's a number that involves bone structure and other numbers mixed in for a kind of a more holistic view of where we are in height and bone structure, and it plays into more than just the weight. So you can look up healthy ranges for your height and weight and get a good idea of where your BMI is. So that's one number that we can kind of look for and figure out for ourselves. Other numbers that we do usually need a healthcare practitioner to help us with: blood pressure. Blood pressure is an extremely important set of numbers for us to know. Blood pressure is one of the indicators of health that we really need to be aware of. So many of us in the US have blood pressure issues. It's a very common issue. And so it's a good number to know, and it certainly plays into a holistic view of health for us. Another number that is important is blood sugar. So diabetes is another condition that we have pretty prevalently in the US. And so our blood sugar, our fasting blood sugar, can tell our healthcare practitioners if we fall within a healthy range or not, and we can learn different ways to help control that number and try to prevent onset of diabetes. Another important number is our waist circumference, how big around our middle is. There are healthy guidelines for men and women. Typically, women want to be at under 35 inches and the waist smaller than hip. And then for men, 40 inches or under. And they don't really have the hip measurement in there for men. Another important set of numbers are our lipids. These are found through blood tests, which your healthcare practitioner can do for you. These are cholesterol, and we all know, we've heard those terms and know that they have to do with correlation to health and what's happening inside the body. And there are different types of cholesterol. We have HD cholesterol, which we want to be at a higher number, and we have the LDL, which we typically want to be at a lower number. And then total cholesterol is the overall number that factors those two in. So those are another set of important numbers. So I'll throw some other numbers out that are super important as well. Number of minutes that we exercise a day and per week. How many minutes are we moving our bodies? How many minutes are we sitting? I know in my full-time regular gig, I do a lot of sitting, which is why I've decided to start these lunch walk and talks, so that I make sure that you're holding me accountable for moving during the day. So how many minutes are we moving? How many minutes are we sitting? How many steps are we getting a day? Everybody has these fun little gadgets now on our wrists, or many of us do, and I know that it's been really eye-opening and great for me to be able to see how much I'm actually moving in a day, in days when I may need to step it up a little bit, and other days that I can just rejoice in blowing that goal out of the water and just crushing it. So that feels really good. Now we've talked about number of minutes of exercise, minutes of sitting, or how many steps. Another number, and the last one that I'll throw out you, is number of hours of sleep. So we know that sleep is important. We need our bodies and our minds to be refreshed. And we know that there's a direct correlation between lots of health issues and either enough sleep or not enough sleep. So that's another important number to factor in. So I've thrown lots of numbers at you today, and they're all important. And so I know that it's easy, especially in our culture and society and the things that we tend to value and push as important. Wait. My goodness, we are all so concerned and even fixated with that number on the scale. And so while I do advocate for us trying to maintain or get to a healthy weight as a health coach and an advocate for your overall wellness, it is certainly not the only number, and there are so many other numbers that are extremely important for us. So if you want to learn more about these numbers and how you can either increase them or decrease them, depending on what your personal individual needs are, let me know. I'm here to help, and I love talking with you, so I'll see you next time.